Hello children, welcome to my channel. This is circles part 1 of class 10. This is very closely related to the chapter circles of class 9, which I have already taught. I have made some parts around 3 to 4 parts. Okay, I'll advise you to see those parts first, then you should come to this part. Okay, class 10 part 1. So without wasting any time, I will directly move to the theorems which you are going to study in this chapter. The first theorem is theorem number 1. The angle that an arc subtends at the center is double the angle that it subtends at any point on the remaining part of the circumference. Okay, let us again try to understand. The angle that an arc subtends at the center is double the angle that it subtends at any point on the remaining part of the circumference. That means, suppose we have a circle here. Let O be the center. Okay, let AB be an arc. You already know what is an arc. If you have gone through the class 9 videos of circles, this AB is an arc. Let us join OA and OB. OA and OB. So the arc AB is subtending some angle at the center O. Okay. Now let us take any point on the circumference. Okay, except this arc, means remaining part. This is the remaining part. This one. The major arc AB is the remaining part. So let us take any point on this major arc AB. So we will take here point P. Again join PA and PB. PA and PB. P and PB. Sir. Okay, so this is the arc AB. It is subtending some angle at the center O. P is any point on the remaining part of the circumference, and again the arc AB is subtending some angle at the point P. Now by this theorem, angle AOB will be double of angle ABB. Means if this is x, this will be 2x. Okay, so angle AOB is equal to angle APB. This is the theorem. Okay, remember the theorem. The angle that an arc subtends at the center is double the angle that the same arc subtends at any point on the remaining part of the circumference. It may be this point, it may be anywhere here, it may be any point here. Okay, so this is the theorem. theorem number 2. Okay, theorem number 2, angles in the same segment of a circle are equal. Okay, angles in the same segment of a circle are equal. Okay, or the same theorem can be told as, or can be described as, angles subtended by the same arc are equal. Try to understand. Angles in the same segment of a circle are equal, or the same thing only. Angles subtended by the same arc are equal. So let me draw a circle so that you can understand. Here is a circle. Okay, let us take an arc AB. Okay, now let us take 2 points. This is the minor arc AB. This is the minor arc AB. Let us take 2 points on the remaining part of the circumference, means on the major arc. Randomly 2 points. Suppose here is P, M. Here is M. Here is N. Okay, let us join MA and MB. MA, MB, then NA and B. NA and B. Now by this theorem, angles subtended by the same arc are equal, or angles in the same segment are equal. See, the arc AB is subtending some angle at point M. The same arc AB is subtending some angle at point N. Now by this theorem, these two angles are equal. Okay, or if we go through, means by the theorem that is given in the book, angles in the same segment are equal. For that we have to join AB to understand. If you join AB, you get a segment. This is a segment. I have already told what a segment is in class 9 circles chapter. Segment in the region bounded by a chord and an arc. So this is the segment. Now you can see this segment is subtending this angle and this angle both. Okay, so by this theorem, these two angles are equal. So this is equal to this. So angle A and B is equal to angle A and B. This is called angles in the same segment. Okay, so many students are not able to find this or use this. They get a lot of confusion here. So the trick is, look at the first and last vertex. Okay, first and last point, A and B. Again here A and B. The middle one will change. Here N, here N. But if first and last are same, or first and third are same, then it is angles in the same segment. Okay, so this is the second theorem. Now theorem number 3. It is converse of 2. It is converse of 2. Okay, theorem number 3. It states that each line segment let us take AB. Let us take line segment AB. Okay, subtend equal angles at m and n. Suppose there are 2 points, another 2 points m and n, at which the line segment AB is subtending equal angles. Then A, B, M and N, these 4 points, okay, these 4 points are concyclic, means they lie in the same circle, or they lie in the circumference of the same circle. Suppose you have a line segment AB, okay, there are 2 points M, this is M and this is N. Okay, suppose it is given that this angle, okay, is equal to this angle. Okay, it is given that the line segment AB is subtending equal angles at 2 points M and N. Then by this theorem, these 4 points A, B, N and M, these 4 points will definitely lie in the circumference of a circle. Means it is possible to draw a circle that will pass through all the 4 points. Okay. If 3 points are given, if 3 non-collinear points are given, like A, B, N or A, B, M, then definitely there will be a circle passing through those 3 points. This was a theorem in class 9 circles chapter. I think theorem number 5. Okay, you can go through my videos. Class 9 circles part 2 video, part 2. Okay, in that it is mentioned theorem number 5. If there are 3 points, non-collinear points, means they do not lie in a straight line, then there will be a circle that will pass through all the 3 points. But here we have 4 points. Okay, so there is no guarantee, okay, that we will be able to draw a circle that will pass through all the 4 points. Okay, means there are every chances that if the circle passes through A, B and N, it may not pass through N, or if it passes through A, B and N, it may not pass through N. But here, if these 2 angles are equal, then by this theorem, the circle will definitely pass through all the 4 points. Okay, so this is theorem number 3. Next is theorem number 4. Angle in a semicircle is 90 degree. Means, suppose you have a circle, okay, O is the center. Suppose we have a diameter, this is AB. Diameter is a special chord that passes through the center. I have already given the explanation in class 9 circles chapter. Okay, I'll advise you to watch all the videos of class 9 circles chapter. If you take any point on the circumference, suppose here M, okay, and join MA and MB, join MA, join MB, this angle will be 90 degree, definitely. Now you take any other point, suppose here N, again join MB, NA, again this will be 90 degree. You take any point, okay? You take any point on the circumference, you join it A and B, the angle formed will be 90 degree. So this is the theorem, angle in a semicircle is 90 degree. Okay? Here we have a full circle. Suppose you have a semicircle only, like this. Suppose you have a semicircle like this. Okay? You have a semicircle like this. Okay. Here AB is the diameter, O is the center. Here also the same thing will be applied. Okay. Angle in the semicircle is 90 degree. You take any point on the circumference, join with A and B. Join with A and B. This will definitely be 90 degree. Okay. So this is the theorem. Angle in the semicircle is 90 degree. Next, theorem number 5. Theorem number 5. Converse of theorem number 4. Okay. Now, what was theorem number 4? Angle in the semicircle is 90 degree. Means, if we have a diameter, we will get 90 degree. Its converse will be, if we get 90 degree, then the chord will be a diameter. Okay. So remember the theorem. If a chord subtends 90 degree at any point on the circumference, okay, then it is a diameter. Okay. If a chord subtends 90 degree at any point on the circumference, then the chord is a diameter. Here we have a circle. Suppose it is a chord AB. I don't know whether it is passing through the center or not. If it is passing through the center, then it is a diameter. If it is not passing through the center, then it is simply a chord, ordinary chord. Okay, so now I am not sure whether it is a diameter or not. Means whether it is passing through the center or not. Now suppose we have a point P on the circumference, and it is given that this angle is 90 degree. Means the chord AB is subtending 90 degree at a point on the circumference. Then definitely this chord AB is a diameter. Means it is passing through the center. This is theorem number 5. Okay. Now we will move to cyclic properties. Okay. So this is theorem number 6. Theorem number 6. Okay. The opposite angles obtain cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary. Okay, the opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary. Now, what is cyclic quadrilateral? I had already explained in class 9 circles. A cyclic quadrilateral is one whose all the 4 vertices lie on the circumference of a circle. Okay, means if a circle passes through all the vertices of a quadrilateral, then we say that that quadrilateral is cyclic. Okay, so let us draw a cyclic quadrilateral. First draw a circle. Okay, now take randomly 4 points on the circumference. A, B, C and D. Join AB, join BC, join DC, join AD. Okay, now ABCD is cyclic quadrilateral. because all of its vertices line the circumference of the circle. Okay. This I had explained in the I explained the circumcircle. This circle is called circumcircle or circumscribed circle, and this quadrilateral or this polygon is called inscribed or cyclic polygon. So the name is cyclic quadrilateral. It is inside, so it is cyclic. Then it has 4 sides, so it is quadrilateral. So cyclic quadrilateral. Now by this theorem, angle A plus angle C will be 180 degree. Angle A plus angle C is 180 degree. Also, angle B plus angle D is 180 degree. Angle B plus angle D is 180 degree. Okay. So this is the theorem related to cyclic quadrilateral. Then it's converse of this theorem. Okay. What is this theorem? If a quadrilateral is cyclic, then its opposite angles are supplementary. Its converse will be, if opposite angles of a quadrilateral are supplementary, then it must be a cyclic quadrilateral. Means there must be some circle that can pass through all the 4 vertices of the quadrilateral. Okay. So that is theorem number 7. Theorem number 7, that is converse of 6. Okay. If opposite angles of a quadrilateral are supplementary, it is cyclic. Okay. If opposite angles of a quadrilateral are supplementary, then it is cyclic. For example, rectangle. Suppose we have a rectangle. Now, is it a cyclic quadrilateral? Okay, if you want to know whether it is cyclic or not, just look at the opposite angles. 90 plus 90 is 180, or 90 plus 90 is 180. Okay, so you can say the opposite angles are supplementary. So definitely there can be a circle that can pass through all the 4 vertices of this rectangle. So it is a cyclic rectangle. Next, square also possible. Okay, a square can also be placed on the circumference of a circle. Okay, means all the 4 vertices of a square can lie in the circumference of a circle. Next is isosceles trapezium. Isosceles trapezium. Okay, this is parallel to this, and this is equal to this. This is called isosceles trapezium. Isosceles trapezium is a quadrilateral in which one pair of opposite sides are parallel and the non-parallel sides are equal. So this is an isosceles trapezium. What happens in an isosceles trapezium? The opposite angles, if this is x, this is y. Okay, the base angles are equal, x, y, y. Then x plus y will give you 180. Okay, means opposite angles are supplementary. That means it is possible to draw a circle that can pass through all the 4 vertices of this isosceles trapezium. So it is a cyclic quadrilateral. So in any quadrilateral, I have given some specific examples: rectangle, square, and isosceles trapezium. Any quadrilateral in which opposite angles are supplementary is definitely cyclic. Means it is possible to draw a circle that can pass through all the 4 vertices of that quadrilateral. Let us take some examples of quadrilateral which are not cyclic. Means you can never draw a circle passing through all the 4 vertices of those quadrilateral. For example, parallelogram. Okay. For example, parallelogram. parallelogram. Okay, see, in a parallelogram opposite angles are equal. Okay, opposite angles are equal but not supplementary. X y y. Okay, in a parallelogram opposite angles are equal but not supplementary. So you can never draw a circle that can pass through all the four vertices of this parallelogram. Means suppose we have A, B, C, D. You will be able to draw a circle that will pass through A, B and C. Okay, you will be able to draw a circle that can pass through A, B and C, but definitely that circle will not pass through D. Similarly, you will be able to draw a circle that can pass through A, B and D. Okay, A, B and D, but that circle will definitely not pass through C. Clear? Okay, so we can draw a circle that can pass through three vertices but not the fourth vertex. So this is not a cyclic vector. Another example, rhombus. Another example, rhombus. Okay, another example, rhombus. Here also the same thing, opposite angles are equal but not supplementary, so it is also not cyclic. Means you can draw a circle that can pass through three vertices, any three vertices, either this three or this three or this, any three vertices, but not the fourth vertex. Okay, so these are not cyclic vectors. Next is theorem number 8. The exterior angle of a cyclic quadrature, the exterior angle of a cyclic quadrature is equal to its interior opposite angle. Okay, so the exterior angle of the cyclic quadrature is equal to its interior opposite angle. We have a circle, let us draw a cyclic quadrature. Okay, so A, B, C, D is a cyclic quadrature because all of its four vertices are lying on the circumference of the circle, as you can see. Now in order to get exterior angle, we have to produce only one side. Let us produce AB. Suppose this is P. By this theorem, this angle is the exterior angle. Okay, angle CBP, and this will be equal to its interior opposite angle, that is D. So this angle is equal to this angle. Clear? Similarly, let us get another exterior angle. Let us produce DA. Suppose this is Q. Now this exterior angle will be equal to its interior opposite angle, that is this angle. Clear? Similarly, let us produce DC. Suppose this is R. Now this is the exterior angle. Okay, suppose this is X. Okay, this will be equal to its interior opposite angle, that is this angle. This is also X. Okay, so this is called exterior angle property of a cyclic quadrature. Okay, so the exterior angle of a cyclic quadrature is equal to its interior opposite angle. So these are the theorems related to circles of class 10. Okay, in the next part I will explain examples, solve examples using this theorem. So these are the theorems. I hope you have understood. Thank you for watching.